Hi guys, Bijou Betty here. Thank you for joining me. This week is a list week and we're going to be talking about 7 reasons why it may seem as though your Moldavite isn't working for you. Now, I developed this list based off of an offshoot of a conversation that I had with a YouTuber, and this particular person was concerned because they were on their 4th piece of Moldavite and they didn't feel anything. They were wondering, asking me whether or not they thought possibly that the Moldavite couldn't be for them. Maybe they weren't meant to work with them. And despite all of this that was going on, they still felt incredibly drawn to it. So I developed this list. Now, I'm going to go into this list saying that I feel that if you are meant to work with a stone, you're meant to work with a stone if you are drawn to it. If you feel literally magnetized towards working with a particular stone, drawn to working with a particular stone, then you are meant to work with that stone. It has something that you need, that your energy needs to entrain or attune to. So, and from my experience, what I've noticed is if a stone is not meant to work with you or its work is finished, then one of 2 things will happen. The first thing that usually happens is the stone will disappear, meaning you're wearing it one day, it disappears from your pockets. You've got it in a necklace, and next thing you know, the stone's no longer there. It's somehow fallen off, although previously it was very, very secure. And either these stones will return to work with you at a later date, or they won't come back. It's just one of the nuances of working with stones and crystals. Another thing that may happen is you will get an incredibly strong urge to give the stone away. And this urge will come completely without attachment to the stone. You just get an urge to give it away to someone. That's how you know that the stone's work is finished, or maybe the stone is not for you. So let's get right into the list. We're going to talk about, again, we're talking about 7 reasons why it may seem as though your Moldavite isn't working with you. And this could go for any stone as well, but I'm relating it to Moldavite. So number 1, I find that some Moldavites are really shy. I received a shy piece of Moldavite a few months ago, and it was from someone that I know very, very well. They would have no reason to gift me a piece of Moldavite that wasn't real, and they got it from a reputable source, but I felt absolutely nothing from it, and it was strange to me because I am sensitive to crystals. So it was even to the point where I scratch tested it. The most hardness of Moldavite is 5.5 to 6, so it will scratch things like glass. So I scratch tested it, and it definitely scratched the glass. So what I ended up doing was meditating with it, and I sat with it for probably about 45 minutes, and I did start to get some energy from it. I started to get energy in the form of visions. So I didn't necessarily feel anything physically when I first came into contact with it, but I did have visions. And a key to meditating with stones, or working with any stone in general, is to journal. Journaling is so important. What I did after my meditations with this particular crystal, and after sleeping with it under my pillow at night, I would always journal. And through journaling, I was able to go back and see synchronicities that had already occurred. And there were a ton of them. However, if I hadn't journaled, they were literally so subtle that the subtlety would have been lost on me, and I would have completely missed the big picture. So journaling is important. Try working with the stone in other ways, like through meditation or sleeping with it under your pillow, and just jot down anything that you experience without any judgment. So number 2, going into the list, cleansing and charging any stone will help reset its energy. It really, really helps. So you can do things like setting it out in the full moon. It works really well for stones. You can also use sound acoustics. That works really, really great with putting them back to their dominant frequency. For Moldavites, they also love sitting out in meteor showers. And you can just look up dates or get apps to find out when those are going to occur. So you set them out on the night of the meteor shower, and they pick up a really nice energy from that. So that is something that could be the culprit as well. It just needs to be cleansed, charged, and maybe you need to get a little bit creative with it. So you can cleanse it and charge it anyway, just don't use salt. It will destroy your stone, and don't set it out in direct sunlight for long periods of time because it will cause the stone to fade over time. Okay, number 3. Another culprit could be the fact that maybe you're not being unconditional in working with your stone. Now, what I mean by that, I can give you an example, is when I first started working with Moldavite. When I first started working with Moldavite, I was very, very conditional in the way that I allowed it to work with me. I was only willing to let it work on one specific area of my life, and I was not open. To letting it work in any other way except the ways in which I'd laid out. So when we place conditions like these, it creates a state of resistance, and what happens is we literally shut doors of opportunity. So what happens is, when we shut these doors, is we shut all doors of opportunity, including the door that could be the easiest and most comfortable way to get to your desired result. So it's best to just kind of go into working with Moldavite or any stone being completely unconditional. When you're working with a stone, when you choose to work with a particular stone, you know how it's going to work in your life. I'm assuming that you've done your research on that. So you know how what areas it's gonna hit. Just don't get too specific. Just let it do its thing. Be completely unconditional. Let it do its thing, and a world of opportunity will open up to you. That's what happened to me. A world of opportunity opened up for me, and I experienced changes that have improved my life beyond words. So, and that happened after I opened myself up. So, number 3 is being unconditional. Number 4 is stones and crystals will work on the aspects of a person that need the most emergent attention first. So, an example of this is, for example, a person's interpersonal relationships may be wonderful, their career may be great, and it falls in line with their higher purpose and in line with who they truly are. However, maybe their perspective or their state of consciousness may need some changing. So you'll find that the Moldavite will work with you in subtler ways, and that it will change your way of thinking as opposed to having that knockout, drag out effect on your life. So it's going to hit the parts of your life that need work. And some people are in different stages of their lives, and they may not need that work. For example, maybe someone has, they've come to Moldavite after they've already feel as though they've, everything has melted away, everything has fallen away, they've lost it all. So they really don't have anything to, to really release at that point, and maybe they just need to deal with the emotions of what has happened and let that release emotionally so that they can build more and grow from there. So Moldavite's going to work for every person differently based on where they are in their lives. Some people are going to experience a whirlwind of changes. Some people are going to experience just a change in their perception. And one experience does not outweigh the other. It does not have more of a weight numerically than the other. It's both the same. I mean, having just your perspective change is actually quite profound in and of itself, especially in such a short period of time. I mean, for some people, it takes them an entire lifetime to even consider changing a belief system. So the fact that something like that could happen within the course of, a few weeks or a few months is absolutely in and of itself a miracle right there. So don't discount things like that. Okay, number 5. One thing I found that is really quite interesting is that the locality or the region where the Moldavite comes from can have a different effect energetically. For example, For me and for my energy personally, pieces from Chlum, this piece right here, this is from Chlum locality. I really don't get that much. Someone from pieces of Chlum, someone could come here with a chunk of it, and I really don't get much off of it unless it's extremely big, like 20 grams plus, or unless it's a piece that I have been particularly drawn to. Someone could pick out like just a small piece, and I won't really feel much with it right off the bat. Either that, or it won't have an effect or change on me for months of wearing it. Now pieces like pieces from Besednitsa, like this piece right here, it doesn't matter what size they are, they just completely like knock me off my seat every time. So the locality could be have a different effect on your energy. Okay, let me just go down in my list. Okay, number 6, it could also be the form in which you receive the stones. And what I mean, when I'm talking about form, I'm talking about, is it a raw stone? Is it a polished stone? Is it a faceted stone? Has it been cut into a particular shape? Those can also have a difference. For me, the most powerful stones I find are in their raw form. And then next would be stones that have been cut into shapes. Like, for example, I wear a trillion cut, and it's basically a fancy way of saying triangle. It's a trillion cut pair of Moldavite earrings, and that energy resonates well with me. I also have an oval cut right here inside of a cage, and that energy resonates well with me. Princess cuts, pear shape, not so much. I don't really get that much from it. So it just all depends. And if a stone is just flat out just polished and tumblies, I don't, in general, it's just general rule for me personally. Tumbled stones or tumblies, they just, for me, they don't have a really great energy there. So it could also be the form of the stone that you're working with. And number 7, if you're not feeling anything physically from Moldavite especially, it could be that your energy is already entrained with the energy of the stone. So, you know, that could be the reason why you're not experiencing things like Moldavite flush and all of that. I know after that getting to know you period, that is when your energy and your vibration is entrained and attuned to a stone. So you're not going to get those sensations that you got at first. So it could just be an energetic thing. Again, most of the time working with a stone, if you are drawn to it, that it means that you're supposed to work with it and work with its energy. And just because you're not feeling anything physically, it doesn't mean that you're not supposed to work with it. And also remember that stones do work with you in many, many different ways, all of them equally profound and equally important for your growth and development. Just remember that everyone's different. And also, as with everything in life, it's best to approach things from an unconditional point of view and an unconditional perspective, because it will allow the things that are meant to come to you, the things that are for your highest good, to come to you in the easiest, most comfortable way possible. So I hope you enjoyed my list this week, and I will see you next week. Bye, guys.